today. We're going to do a quick chat with the Porter brothers. Thank you for hanging out with us. It was great to hear from Reveal. Lots of great stuff going on there. All these multifaceted Web3 organizations, companies. We get to finally sit down for like one of our only 4 times today. How's that feel? Oh, what is this new shirt? What is this? Where's your mic? Do we have a mic for this?
Skylight.
Oh, are you two gonna share?
Big Lord of the Metaverse.
Sky, that's what that is?
Yeah.
Ooh, looks like a heavy metal. I like it.
It's like a theme, you know. So they'll do games, they'll do events, they'll do shows at your gala.
It's like a brand, or like that's
it's really cool. It's like the Matrix, you know. So you go in, you create your avatar character.
Is that where this is going now? The Matrix? Yeah, I believe it.
It's pretty fun though, and actually it really makes you feel the power. It electrifies you. It boosts you up. Skylight. It's crazy.
I wish we had another mic for you. Now I feel like I'm hogging. It's because I am. That's because I am.
Don't worry about it. So we had these guys in Monaco, and they came with a complete immersive experience as well. We had them at the Harvard Club in New York City, and we just finished, of course, the NFT NYC. We had our gala there and everything else. Pretty awesome.
All right. Guys, I know it's a small. Thank you for those who are sitting here now, those who are listening. We're gonna do this. We got the camera. Check out that camera piece. Hello, yes. Yeah, we got content regardless. All right, folks, we got the Porter brothers up here. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves, but this will be fun. Let's have a good time with this. I just want to ask a lot of questions about what you guys do. I know you do a lot. Let's start with your names. Bruce.
Yes.
Introduce yourself, please.
Sure. Bruce Porter Jr. We're early Bitcoiners. Got in very early, and we have ridden these waves up and down for a very long time. And now our biggest business is consulting early to mid-stage technology startups. A lot like the ones that you guys have here. We also throw different events around the world, do galas, everything else. Partner with events like this. I'll hand it off to David here. Yeah, I got involved with blockchain with Bruce. He was building stuff on the internet, and we found blockchain as a way to maybe move funds around and get around, and also utilize the whole technology through social media platforms and communication and possibilities to store data and all these things.
Okay, so, and you guys said that you were early Bitcoiners. Was that the first blockchain action you guys were doing?
It was before Ethereum, so it was before data storage.
So this is 2017? No.
Way before that.
Yeah, we're talking like
2013, I guess.
When did Ethereum officially come out?
Maybe even before that. Ethereum came out, it had to be 2014, 2015.
See, okay, oh wow. Okay, yeah, you guys really know what you're... See, and you meet a lot of OGs, and they date back to 2017, and they are.
Which is really still, awesome. You've been in for a long time. I mean, that's like the thing, people talk about. One of the guys here, actually, that you have here, one of the exhibitors.
Oh yeah.
Metaverse Corporation started the Metaverse Corporation in 2016.
Oh, no wonder. Oh, so they just did the name. Now that name is a hype term everywhere. Oh wow.
Yeah. So, but I mean, for the Metaverse, I mean, he is definitely OG. So, yeah, pretty cool. So, you guys are doing an amazing job.
Well, thank you. I should say, what is your thought now? Because, and you mentioned you guys work with galas and you have your own events sometimes, right?
Right.
So, what are your thoughts on NFT Extraverse so far? What have you got today? What have you enjoyed?
Yeah, you guys have done a great job. I mean, it's your first one, right?
Yeah, yes, very first, and first time in LA too. So.
First time in LA. You brought out. You can see the grassroots of everybody that got here. If you're in town, if you're in LA, and you're in the NFT scene, I think you can. Which is pretty big. That's really what you want. You start with. I know the next one's going to be in Fort Lauderdale, March 3rd and 5th.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, you got it right. 3rd to the 5th. Yeah.
Well, we were talking the other way, right after our Basel. So I was like, oh, they changed it.
Oh, okay, good. You're going to switch your schedules, though. You'll make it to that one, too.
Hopefully. That's a long way off. I'm not sure. We were definitely going to be at Art Basel, so that was a done deal. But yeah, we'll usually come and support. But you guys have quite a team as well. I mean, how many people are on the team?
Honestly, wow. we have about over 50 people on us. A lot of the team now too, ironically, is back home. I mean, because we have so much going on behind the scenes, the website updates, switching speakers, all of the technical, the ticketing. So it's fun, and you guys are aware because you do your own stuff. You put together events as well. It's way more than just what's immediately in front of you at these events.
100%. And the team says a lot as well about the leadership. So I have to say that we are suitably impressed. Now you have the sales guys over here as well at a booth. What exactly are they doing?
So we've got our sales team here because we are already prepping for next year. We're going to be back in LA literally the same time next year, like 365 days away. That falls on, they said, the 28th, 29th, 30th in LA. So yeah, so we are getting to keep this thing going. We know that we want Extroverse to be nationwide and eventually global and maybe some South America. Yeah, we've got a big plan. So that is why we're here and we're prepping to sell, future booths, other Extroverse floors. Were you guys able to talk with them to see what's going on? Go on the Florida event and that?
Just a little bit. We talked to them. We talked to some of the other people. Obviously, they had here some cool projects as well. There's a stripper pole here, as well as they all have their clothes on now. I'm not sure what the deal is with that. I don't know. They didn't get the memo or something. But there's a metaverse for the strippers that is here. There's also some other cool metaverses. There's a gender bending metaverse.
Oh my, I did not see that. It's very unique though. Very unique.
Like, okay. Well, I guess we are in LA.
Yes. No, you know what? In LA, I gotta say, I mean this in a good way too. Very different. I've never been to LA. This is definitely not anywhere else. I guess it wouldn't be rational, but no, it's been very unique. You know, people, experiences. You want to take this mic?
I guess there's a puppy metaverse as well. My brother wanted me to backtrack a little bit and tap dance after going over those things. We were just out at Comic-Con as well. You know, Comic-Con in San Diego. San Diego is another beautiful place, similar to Los Angeles, but, you know, obviously different. But it was amazing to see the metaverse and the NFTs start to creep into Comic-Con as well. And I predict that over the next few years, that's going to be a pretty important conference for us.
Oh, what were some of the, and you can both answer this as well, what were some of the collaborations that you saw at Comic-Con? Like, what parts of the event were they incorporating non-fungible technology into? Because we should probably learn from this. I'd love to hear what they were doing.
I was actually the one there, so I'll take it back.
Don't worry.
David was still out in Portugal. He just flew in.
Oh, jeez. You guys are all over the... All right. So, yeah, what were they doing over at Comic-Con?
So, and it was interesting because I would say as far as market penetration, you had about 20% market penetration, which was very low, which is kind of what I figured. Now, a lot of that, of course, is just like people reselling comics, and so I get that. But for all the brands, they all know that they need to get in there, you know? So you had there was a group selling the Visi 8. They were selling their intellectual property. They had 5 different, themes. And so they're there to basically sell those to the different distributors. And they had, starting to build the metaverse, putting it into NFTs, already had some augmented reality stuff they were playing with. I mean, this is like, big moves. There was another one there, I forget the name of it right off the top of my head, but they were doing an NFT drop next month.
They're promoting things like that, then just, I guess, because their audience is there, right?
The audience is there, and those types of people are buying collectibles and doing stuff, so that's pretty interesting.
So wait, did we start NFT Expoverse just for everybody to start using? Oh wow, maybe they will. Maybe NFTs will become a thing at most events. I mean, even event ticketing. Are you familiar with that yet? How they're doing like event ticketing through NFTs? Have you had to buy any yet to get into any of these events?
No,
not yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen it done well yet.
It's too many steps.
Yeah.
What do you think it will take for somebody to do that process effectively? What do you think will be the game changer? Like, how do you make that work? Because you're right, it's something unknown, first of all. Everybody has to learn. So when do you see that transitioning to be a mainstream ticketing form?
In my opinion, it's got to be hosted. So, like, if you're, going to tell people they got to send their NFT to some wallet or this or that and the other, you lose, 90% of the people. But if they're able to hold the NFT in the website, and here it is. Here's your NFT, and you can also transfer it off website on your own wallet, blah blah blah, and that's fine. But there needs to be that website.
I say this, Matt Worst, actually, he spoke yesterday, a very interesting guy. He talked a lot about how there are companies doing just that. You mentioned how the wallet would be something on the website or something that they don't realize is like a third-party wallet. That ease of use, that simplicity. And then, of course, you have people like me who are total nerds, and I was like, no, I want to send it into my Coinbase wallet. So, of course, but no, I love that notion because a lot of people are forgetting that yeah, they can make it so much easier where our wallets could be built into the website or whatever the platform is, and it's almost like you don't have to think about it, which might be a lot easier when it comes to a club or a ticket. I mean, how great would it be if all of your Eventbrite tickets just stayed on Eventbrite as NFTs, similar to how the ticket is on there now. It's just an NFT and it's proven and you can't lose it. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. What are your thoughts? Yeah, share what you feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, people want to make it like a historic ticket, and I think it actually does work. I've known friends that like kept all their concert tickets. So sure, I mean, people like to collect things. So the more historic, the more important you could make it. What it could make somebody feel, if it could bring back a memory. If it's a cool NFT and it's there for 5 years later, you get to brag about it.
So it's almost as if you see it as like a collectible as opposed to let me pull out my wallet and I'll show you my ticket. It's more about having that memorabilia afterwards.
Well, I think that most people should be trying to sell their NFTs as a future upgrade included. So you buy your NFT now, and it includes the next 5 upgrades, maybe upgrading into a metaverse or something. Whatever the evolution is, include that for your customers, so they're not stuck with just some picture or one thing.
That rewards the early adopters, right? The early people who get it. Have you seen any? Because you guys do this, you consult and work with small grassroots businesses. What have been, and you can totally play favorites here. Would you mind the 3 favorite? Am I coming out? It might be me. Would you mind naming like 2 or 3 of some of the groups that you've worked with? They could be. It doesn't need to be NFTs. It could be metaverse, blockchain, DeFi. Who are some groups you've worked with, and what have they done that you feel is cutting edge or going to be successful for them?
Okay, so we have actually on our little banner that we've been taking around. I hope people, so I'll definitely plug them. One of them is Persaga. Persaga is a layer 1. It's not specifically NFTs or or metaverse. Although if things work out correctly, they'll build a lot of those things on there. It's a layer 1. It's object-oriented blockchain, object-oriented database is what it's using.
So what does that mean, just for the people who don't know? Because I don't even know.
In layman's terms, basically, you don't have to have a smart contract for everything. You can still operate it. So I was listening to the CTO yesterday, day before, down at Mining Disrupt, and it is pretty interesting. Another one that we have on there, of course, is EcoWatt. EcoWatt is a energy company that is using carbon credits and NFTs and everything like that in order to make green energy. And so they raised $100 million in a token round. Now we're setting them up as well with the fund structure. We helped with set Saga up with their fund structure. So now with US Capital Global, we have a $100 million fund structure for that, and we're doing the same thing with EcoWatt. A couple other ones on there, of course, are here. You had Comedyverse and the Animal Concerts. Animal Concerts is a great company, so is Comedyverse. Their partner, Animal Concerts, has Snoop Dogg and Rihanna and Billy Ray Cyrus.
What?
Yeah, it's big.
And is that what live performances in a metaverse? Is that what it leads to?
So what we're doing with them is a convertible note. So that's another thing. That's one of the things that we do specifically is roll a lot of these different companies that are doing a token raise or they're doing a land sale into a more sophisticated structure so that it can raise big money. And the convertible note isn't so much of a, I would say, sophisticated structure like a fund or something like this, but it is sophisticated. An investor knows, okay, I'm going to put $1 million in this. 1 year later, you're going to give me 20% on that, and that's a convertible note. That's how it works. And so they're doing that for 10 different performers, and they'll put them into the metaverse, and they have the rights for, I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, so I'll kind of stop it there, but very well connected.
No, that sounds great. It's cool too. It sounds like NFT technology. NFT is such an overused word, but the non-fungible technology behind fundraising right now, that sounds like something even, you just mentioned, getting these businesses together and how they do this. Are you working with a lot of people or even a few that are using NFTs to get that more immersive fundraising opportunity where the investors feel a part of the project? Is that something you're seeing a lot of?
Well, it's no doubt that that different companies are using the NFTs in order to raise money. I'm not sure that it's really connecting the way that you're saying, like, okay, it makes them feel better or this, that, or the other. I feel like for most of the investors, they are, when am I going to get my money back? Number one. And then number two, how much am I going to make?
So then there needs to be more of a reason for these things to deliver. There needs to be more. Wow. So I guess what we're going to find is that many people will try this round of fundraising through NFTs, but there's going to be probably fewer who are really successful and many who come up short of what they're going. Do you think that there's strategies that people can put in place specifically, or platforms they can use to be better about that? Because the idea of using it to get people on the project is a genius idea. I mean, it makes sense, and I'm sure we'd all love to have like that kind of support. But yeah, what's going to be the reality? Will many just not make the cut? What do you feel?
Well, I think we're still in an NFT explosion. It's one of the things that's going to carry
a volcanic eruption of sorts.
Granted, the market is like taking a dive from 70 grand. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you still have an FT Expoverse, which sure it'll be more packed next year. But guys, there's a lot of people here.
It's still happening.
Yeah, it's still happening. And I flew in from Miami. He flew in from Portugal to Miami to here, but we all came to.
Somebody get this guy a nap. You've been going all over the place. Sorry, but you came in from Miami, yes.
But one thing I always tell people, because we work with various projects and always they want to give us their tokens and everything else. And look, guys, like, no offense or anything, but 95% of the projects fail. So there's a 95% chance that these tokens you're giving me are going to be worth nothing.
It's funny to hear that because, sorry, not to interrupt you. I was just going to say that I have experience with small businesses. A lot of us do. And all these NFT projects, metaverse, whatever, it's like small businesses. And I guess we should have known because, don't 95% of small businesses fail like this?
Yeah. Well, they don't all have to aim to be successful in the long term. So really, it's an entrepreneur's dream. They can operate their own business right here on any smart device.
Yeah, and is that realistic nowadays, though? How do you feel about that?
Well, and just to finish that, so to answer, a lot of them aren't going to make it, obviously, and that was the point. And as far as having your own business, obviously, look at what's happened. Like, even like guys like us, I haven't had a job in 20 years, or if ever, really. But it's hard for a guy like me to go get a job. Like, I go and I apply for a job, and like, there's like so many other people that are in front of me. Whether you like it or you don't like it or whatever, it is what it is. You know what I mean? And so, I think that it's in order to have some technology and put it out there and be able to make some money. I think to his point, it doesn't have to be a long, successful thing. You can make like some money, 6 figures, 7 figures, get out, hopefully not screw anybody over, and it's still a success.
What would be some advice that you would give to people who are thinking about getting into a Web3 business? And it can be general. I'm curious what you feel is most important to share. If you had to give some advice, what's the first thing off the top of your head?
I think getting your timestamp on the blockchain that you started this venture at this point in time on this chain. Get it started.
Building the timeline.
Yeah, and include the vision for the next few upgrades, so people know what they're gonna see coming up, and make sure you're touching people's hearts. They need to feel something, and also trigger some ideas that they could be inspired by.
So, please speak on.
Because what I would like to say, and I said this on stage in
Portugal.
Dubai.
I'm just kidding.
Everybody was laughing.
What?
We go everywhere. But it's marketing. It's marketing, guys. It's like everybody's like, oh, I'm still building the tech. Oh yeah, no, it's almost ready. You know, well, yeah, dude, your freaking token is in the toilets. Like, you know what I mean? You might want to market it, and people have a hard time with that. And the fact of the matter is, a large allocation of your budget needs to go to marketing. And what is marketing? Marketing is getting your name out there. It's getting your logo out there. It's having people recognize what you're doing. And that is
a lot of people.
And that is like the biggest thing that is missing. And so you want to really, as you launch, allocate, I mean, I would up to a third almost. 20 to 30% of your budget needs to be in marketing. And that's how you win.
And you think that in this industry, in like Web3, NFT, blockchain, like marketing is even more important for a Web3 business in a sense? Because I would think so.
Yeah, I mean, marketing is important anyway, but I think, yeah, especially with Web3, because it's not really kind of out there, right? It's not, I mean, it's...
No, well, yeah. It's like what you said. It feels out there here. It feels out there being able to have this discussion I can't have with hardly any of my friends or family or mother or anybody. But that's the thing I realized is like here it feels normal, but no. As soon as we step out there and we say, hey, we're that NFT expert, some people are like, oh, they have events for those pictures now? And I'm like, no, not exactly. It's more than a picture. I'm sure you guys deal with this constantly, though. It's like, yeah, it's so new. It's really so new. And you see this, you're going to Dubai and Portugal. The point is, though, is you see this all over the world in small little spaces, yes?
Oh yeah, it's booming though, especially with the explosion of NFTs. I know it was the big way to go 2 years ago, and it really a lot of people actually realize that they can do something with Bitcoin, with blockchain now. It's huge, you know, and we'll see it more and more as things move forward. I mean, we did a big billboard in Times Square for NFT NYC. And it was like awesome, you know. It was really cool.
That's because marketing works.
Marketing works, exactly. And we were like, totally. We rented out the Harvard Club through a big gala. You know, had to tell people they couldn't come in. Really important people. Like, sorry, I said David out there. No, I'm kidding. But kinda. David's like, stop smoking pot in front of the Harvard Club. Can't come in, guys. Yeah. True story.
Who were at your party? How was the sentiment? Because we had friends and some of our staff even went to NFT NYC. And it's great. We're trying to learn and network and see, especially like how this works, how we can break into the community. The sentiment, though, we heard was really good, even with the bear market starting. This was back in March, I believe. So, and they fought through that. And we're kind of doing the same thing now. Have you guys also noticed that it feels like even with the market, the sentiment is still up? People are excited.
100%. And I'll tell you what, we threw a conference. We don't really do the conferences anymore. We come in as a partner. That's our setup.
Yeah.
But we did throw a conference in like the bottom of the bear market. You know, Bitcoin was like 3,500 when it really, I mean, I'm talking like, and then by the time the conference came, it was starting to bounce a little bit, maybe kind of like we are right now. But it was the bear market, man. And of course, you know, the people that were there are still in the business. I don't think anybody that was there is not still in the business and hasn't made 7 figures since then.
You want to add it? That's such a real thing to say. No, if you had anything to add about just the sentiment around how it's been over these past like 4 or 5 months since NFT NYC until NFT Extroverse now. How do you feel? Like, just you positive about it yourself?
Well, I would say that most people really do want to get back in now, even though they probably were down from 60 or 50s and they're way down on some of their accounts. They know that they need to buy back in to cost average their losses. And so it just shows that they're still, they're still with it. They still want it.
I was going to say all the memes lately, it's like people are just like, 17, and you think this is expensive? Remember when it was like 39, 42? I mean, it's so funny. I have friends and they're just like, no, I should have bought when it was at 1,500. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, you might have messed up. But it's funny to think that, you know, we've also, another thing worth mentioning is there's a great meme and it was circulating last week, and it said don't buy Bitcoin. And it said never buy Bitcoin. Back in 2015, it went up to $10 and then it crashed to $1. And then a couple years later, it went up to 100, and then crashed to 10. And then a couple of years later, it was 2,000, and it crashed. And it's just the joke is that the new low is always higher than the last low 2 years prior.
Yeah, maybe don't buy it, but definitely sell it. That's what he's always telling me. Bruce, I think we should sell some now. I don't know, man. I think it's gonna go higher. He's like, oh,
I know we see, and it almost. So I feel I'd love to hear your opinions. I think it's inevitable, and I'll be straight. I am not a huge what is it, Bitcoin backseat. I'm really about Ethereum. I really think the whole blockchain, the digital ownership, the technology it already has changed the world. But with the price of Bitcoin, and again, this is speculative, whatever. Someone's gonna be like, that's wrong. Do you think it can hit $100,000?
100%. I have a laser eye profile on Twitter. That's Bitcoin to 100,000. He's Sir David Porter.
If you think it can hit 100,000, let's test this. Do you think it can hit $250,000?
I think here's what's going to happen.
Let's hear it.
I was laughing about it earlier. So everyone's saying it's going to 100,000, right?
Yeah.
So it's either going to go to like 96, 97, and then crash, take everyone's money, or it's going to go to like 300. After everybody's like, all right, sell it. It's 100,000, sell, and this is how it goes. I mean, the 10 years to $1 million coin and 20 years to the $100 billion coin.
See, and that's the reason that this isn't a ridiculous conversation is because would we have really thought that it could ever even hit just 20,000 a couple of years ago? No, right?
He's lying. Listen, in the beginning, none of us, we were buying Bitcoins for like $70. When Bitcoin went to $400, I was like, this is overpriced. Everybody should sell. Sell now. And then it went to $1,200.
What did you honestly think? Were you just like genuinely so confused, or what was your reaction at the time?
I mean, I wasn't as upset as some other times I've been in my life trading, to be honest. But it was a little upsetting. But then it went back down to like 250. So, that
sounds like what's happening now.
Right. And actually, if you look now, right, we had a nice pump. But guys, it's probably going to go back down and touch. This is the sideways action. But then that being said, it is Bitcoin. And it is an unregulated market. And it could, just go up to 28.
It's, that's the thing. I keep thinking, I'm like, back in 2007, I just never, ever thought we would get here. And now being especially part of NFT Extroverse, I'm like, oh man, this is crazy that like all of these business, just the fact that there is such an industry developing proved to me very sincerely, like, this is why the value is just going up, because nobody doesn't want to be a part of it. Like you said in the very beginning, you mentioned you were at Comic-Con, and those businesses, organizations, and groups there were like using NFTs and blockchain marketing and NFTs for fundraising. And that's awesome. It obviously shows that this is spanning way beyond just this industry.
It is, and it's taking over. The fact of the matter is people don't understand, but you can fit as much information in an NFT as you can on any of those mobile apps on your phone, and it's growing. So the possibilities of what you can do with an NFT are going to continue. Movies, music, like we start to see people delving into it like this, but we've had a revolution with art. It changed art totally. Artists make money. People are millionaires. And we're going to see more and more of that as people realize that they can get paid on and on again like they used to every time someone listens to their song and stuff like that.
It's going to be, I was going to say, that's a whole other subject too. It's going to get very interesting with all that entertainment royalties. All right, Porter Brothers, let's do 2 more questions. One is, now I just want to have fun. What are you doing for the rest of this year? What is up for your schedules? Where can we find you? What are you guys going to be doing?
We're headed to Toronto next week.
This guy has been all over the world. Like, you need a break. What are you doing, man?
No, if I take a break, then I just think about what I want to do. So. We really love doing it. It's a lot of fun for us. We learn so much. We stay on the forefront of most of these really incredible ideas. The business concepts are unreal. So it's a ton of fun. I get to meet cool people And thanks for having us out here at NFT Expoverse.
Oh, absolutely. Bill, let's see what you have to say, Bruce.
For sure, and I'll just touch on a couple of the high points. Our roadshow is pretty crazy. But of course, it's the Futurist Conference in Toronto. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Vitalik is headlining again. They partnered with F Toronto. Over 500 developers are going to be there. Like that.
So cool. So
it's going to be awesome. So that's Toronto. Then we have Burning Man. Woo! Burning Man. I've always wanted to go.
I got so excited. I go to festivals.
Yeah, dude. I've always wanted to go.
My wife's like, Burning Man. I think that's like
it's like a party, right? And I'm like, no. She's like, no, billionaires and tech stuff. And she's no. I think it's like Coachella. No.
Boring Bitcoin,
Burning
boring
Man.
NFTs, all nerdy stuff.
All that
no
stuff.
Parties. No
Nothing.
Did you believe you? This doesn't sound
We'll miss NFT Nashville, but I think that's going to be a good one if people aren't going to Burning Man. We'll hit Dubai. There's actually the next month. The Eternity University is doing a deal in a castle in Germany. We're going to be there. There's another, late or in that first 2019 through the 23rd, we'll probably do another gala in New York City. It's like UN Week or something. They're doing like a big thing. We got big money guys coming out there. And the Big Basil, we'll do another deal probably at the Versace Mansion. And that's going to be, Vegas, Money 2020. I think that's a really important one for everybody as well. There's a lot more. He runs a tight schedule, man.
What do you mean you're tired? I'm just I guess I should really thank you for taking it. I know you thanked us, but thank you for making us a stop on your world tour here, folks, because wow. I'm very excited to hear. It's also reassuring and also fun to hear that there are all these other events happening. Right now, I personally don't see it as so much as competition. There are billions of people to get involved in this before I'm worried about everybody poaching or, you know what I mean? Like, we need to get the world interested, on a much larger scale.
There's room in this space for everybody. I mean, I saw a guy here that I had, he got mad at me years ago and, whatever. I just remember, I was telling people, I'm like, there's room in this space for both of us. Like, it's fine. It doesn't matter. Plenty of room and plenty of money. We make it. Magic internet money. We just make it out of thin air.
I was going to say, that's not an exaggeration. We're just I'm serious. This is probably the only room today where everyone I can have a conversation with about, we're not there yet in regular society. Oh, you look like you had something to say. So, guys, last question is just, what can we do to get you to Miami, Fort Lauderdale? What can we do to get you NFT Expoverse in Fort? Because you're going to be our best, yes.
We like the big cabin, first class cabin.
We'll get you a bigger stage. Okay, so you want the secret entertainment suite? Okay, yeah, we'll pull that one out. We'll get a sponsor.
Something like we have here.
You know what?
Yeah. That's actually so it's something that we've been progressing with the different conferences that we come in. We want to run a stage like this. There.
I just came up with an idea. It's interesting, but something that I want to do far more. The whole team's aware of it. We want to promote more networking and meetings for our next Expoverse because,
and let us throw a gala. We'll throw a gala.
Sweet. All right. So in addition to the gala, he's a buyer and signature. You've been all over. Can we get your help though? Maybe even with networking. Maybe with a stage, bringing people there. Maybe we have different meetings because what I've learned is everyone here is trying to say hello. Hear what you're up to, what you're about, what are you doing next. So and then the gala. Ooh, what would we do for that? Do you work out ideas?
Yeah, the galas are awesome, man. It's one of my favorite things to do. In Miami, it's cool. Harvard Club, we really had to keep everything really PG, I mean, we had in Miami, we had zillion dancers, fire throwers, still walkers, and we had to get 3 fashion shows. I mean, we were like, why are these girls walking around their pants? What are you talking about? But it's a lot of fun, And the thing about the way we do the galas as well is it's a nice sit-down dinner. We don't go cheap on the whole gala. People say it's a gala and there's no dinner and everything else. You have to have that. You have to have that whole experience. Bring a tuxedo, wear a tuxedo,
have that to with the important people.
I was also, and that's a great community event. Or, also more exclusive event. It's not going to be for everybody. But those who are really serious about it, those who are we need to have more. We want to have more going on, and that's what happened. We're so excited that so many people, they kind of rendezvous and make their own events around Extrovert. So in Florida, we're going to see that even more so, and we're ready to capitalize on marketing together because it's just a giant networking game, and we're Twitter's exploding. My phone keeps going. Shut up, please. But I'm so humbled about it. It's flattering. It's awesome. I'm so glad that people are excited. That's so cool, right? Like that's what we wanted to see. All right, final thoughts. So NFTs, crypto, metaverse, go.
Well, I think LA is the hot spot for entertainment and NFTs. So we're happy to be out here. Let's make things happen. Awesome. And I would go a step further and say that the U.S. right now is hot. It's really hot for the metaverse, for NFTs. There are places like Dubai, and love Dubai. I love the people there. I made a lot of money there. We did the World Fair. They had different things, and it was really, really hot there. But now we've got different things being a little more clear with the government and NFTs and everything like that. It's a little. You have a lot of money here in the U.S. that's been sitting on the sidelines and it's been waiting in order to go in. And that's where I also circle back with the proper investment structure in order to onboard that. But there's a lot of money here in the U.S. I think the U.S. is going to continue to heat up. All of the Americans, as a matter of fact, Central, South America, Caribbean, U.S., Canada, it's going to be really hot. As well as everything else in Europe is too. And Dubai is going to continue to be leading the world like off the crossroads of the world. But the NFT space and metaverse space has a long way to go. I feel like we're at Bitcoin like 1,500 right now.
That's all. Yeah, that's awesome. I see so much growth potential. I think what you two are doing is so cool. You're going around networking, creating these community events, and you're working with grassroots companies, which I really appreciated when you mentioned that because it's something I'm more excited about than all the big names. And I'm happy. I'm glad that it's